Ready. Here we go.
Journaling is the activity of gathering, assessing, creating, and presenting news and information. Journalism can be distinguished from other activities and products by certain identifiable characteristics and practices. These elements are not only separate journalism from other forms of communications, they are what make it indispensable to democratic societies. Histories reveals that the more democratic to society, the more news and information it tends to have. I think it's really normal because people want to information. News is a part of communication that keeps us informed of the changing events, issues, and characters in the world outside. Though it may be interesting or even entertaining, the foremost value of news is as a utility to empower the informed. The purpose of journalism is thus to provide citizens with the information they need to make the best possible decision about their lives, their communities, their societies, and their government. In Mexico, the journalism is really important. Well, currently in Mexico, the two best known journalists are Dr. Dennis Dresser Salmon and Dr. Maria del Carmen Aristegui Flores. They are recognized for their profession in Mexican politics. Well, we have some pictures about Dennis Dresser. You can see it here. Dr. Dresser is the author of Neopopulist Solution to Neoliberal Problems, Mexico's National Solidarity Program, as well as a number of articles on contemporary Mexican politics and Mexico-United States relations. In 2010, she won the National Prize for Journalism in the category Article in the Background with an open letter to Carlos Slim. Forbes magazine has named her as one of the 50 most powerful women in Mexico and one of the most influential people on Twitter. Well, in 2015, she was awarded the Legion of Honor by the French government for her work in favor of democracy, human rights, and freedom of expression. Now we talk about Carmen Aristegui. Is perhaps the most influential journalist in Mexico today, with her commitment to the trade and his relentless persistence. She has put in the spotlight the bad practices of some of the most powerful people in the country. Carmen Aristegui is the host of Aristegui, the CNN en Español talk show that provides frank dialogue with prominent figures on the political, economic, cultural, and entertainment world in Mexico and America Latina.
One of the biggest problems facing the profession in the increasingly precarious work and the professional situation of journalism in case that do not have the minimum coordination that warranted team to develop them professional work in the best probable way.
And you have another fact?
Yes, in another fact, the poor remuneration of journalism work, the lack of political and economic independence of the media, or the lack of rigor and neutrality in the professional practice. In another hand, social networks and online communities have become an essential tool for information. Platforms such as Twitter or Facebook are changing the way to journalism works. The immediately and interesting will reduce have become essential elements today.
Well, tell me about the your statistic.
Well, some statistics like 26% of the journalists who have participated in this study consider this change the most important. Well, around the 80% of journalism use the social networkings of the beer with a delay or almost day frequency. You have to be on Twitter. In a most case, they use it to disseminate the information they produce on the obtain information about companies and other entities. Despite this data, we can not forget to separate the noise of quality information. Twitter is not perceived as a tool to connect with the audience. Well, internet freedom worldwide decreased in 2016 for the sixth consecutive years. You know? Yes, I know. The data that this study shows speak of a global setback in the field of offline freedom of expression. 67% that is to this of all internet users live in countries where criticism of the government or train family or the army is censored. Now, I explain a chart of liberty points. 38 countries made arrested based on messages made on social networks during the past year, resulting in oppressive sanctions directed against social media users. Globally, 27% of internet users live in countries where people have been arrested for publishing shares or simply liking content published on Facebook. Well, one of the proposals we have to improve the arrival of information is to inform us adequately through or about news. And we can use newspaper or economic magazines so that we can disseminate disseminate more accurate and concrete information. It is not enough just to listen to the news. We must read and know what is behind each information that is given to us. We could make a school newspaper that promotes real information and what As a proposal, I believe that making information culture with the real issues that journalism happens in Mexico is fundamental to change the perception of reality. For that reason, I propose to make a monthly information triptych of the facts I knew about the Mexican journalism.
Yes, because I think the work is when we try to inform not only with the government or with journalists. We can try
Use
to
another forms to
yes,
inform the people.
yeah,
As a conclusion, and to emphasize the not lives of impression is journalism, the perception we have about our lives does not always correspond to reality, despite the sense of freedom and plurality offered by social networks and the internet. The data shows a very different vision.
thank you for your attention. That's all.
And this is the most important for all the people to know.
Thank you. See you soon.